man. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, definitely want to check and see if everybody can hear me. All right, we good. All right, so I want to thank each and every one of y'all for joining us today. I'm Elder Martin with the King James Bible University and also the House of the Lost Sheep. So we back with the Adam series. I know we've been going through it. I think this is the fourth one. So we'll keep marching through it until we finish it out. So we got quite a bit left before we finish it out. So before we get started, I do want to make some announcements that we basically, we hold to and we stand firm on, that we here at King James Bible University and with the House of the Lost Sheep and every channel that actually falls under that umbrella over here at King James Bible, we are not affiliated with or associated with any Christian organization, any black camp, black Hebrew camp, whatever you want to call them. We're not affiliated with none of those because they all teach us, hate toward individuals. That's the camps. The Christians, well, they teach love, and that's a whole bunch. It ain't the type of love that the Most High deals with, but we're not affiliated with any of those. We here at King James will never join to any outside groups. We're gonna stand along with the 1611 King James Bible the 1611 King James Bible. Sorry about that. That's what we're gonna hold to, and that's basically what we stand on, the true word of God. So with that, we definitely, like I said, appreciate everyone for coming out, and we're gonna go ahead and try to get off into it. We won't try to hold you too long. We'll try to bring forth this information, and we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my Bibles up, and we can kind of just get right back into this Adam series. All right, so we back with the Adam. I think the last one we left off at Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, more so introducing Adam. So today, we'll be going on down to, we're going to try to get on through chapter 2, maybe even try to get down from chapter 2 to all the way to verse 3. So we're going to try to move through a lot. I will be bringing forth a lot of good information to so hopefully everyone has your paper, pencils, pens, notebooks, any recording devices, and we're gonna go ahead and just jump right off into it. So we already got the Bible set in Genesis, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. So we're gonna start off in Genesis chapter 1, and we'll do verse 28, and we'll take it down to 30. All right, so hold on one second. Let me make sure I got this set. All right. Okay. It say, and God blessed them, right? And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. So he's telling you to be fruitful. We're gonna pull because we're running spiritual dictionary. I know we definitely want to make sure if it's anybody new here, they can kind of see how these words actually move. So I'm gonna try to scroll through them a little quicker if I can. So we're going to go with fruitful. All right. All right. He's telling you to be fruitful, which means bountiful, fertile, yielding, and then generations. So this is more so when you're looking at it, even on how it's moving, when they're telling you to be fruitful, it's telling you to bring forth works abundantly. So these same works, when you're being bountiful, fertile, yielding, you bringing forth these works abundantly. So when he telling you to be fruitful, and then he say multiply, we'll pull multiply right quick. Let me go to M. All right. It say multiply, increase, grow, and expand. So we see that. So when it's saying multiply, it's telling you to increase, grow, and expand, or enlarge. So looking at the movement of those words is basically telling you to reproduce that which was originally produced by Jehovah. So when he's telling you to be fruitful and multiply, so we'll go to replenish. I might try to type this in so I can move a little quicker, y'all. Let me grab my keypad. Replenish. All right. All right. Replenish, restore, nourish, fulfill. So we see that. So it's telling you to replenish. So restore, nourish, fulfill, or you could say more so renew what has been established by Jehovah, because this is the purpose of Adam. And then we have subdue. I just want to pull a few words and then we'll start to try to march through this. Subdue. All right, subdue means to blow it up. My wife telling me it's too small, she can't see it. All right, subdue. It says conquer, bring under, then humble. Let me pull another one. Yeah. All right, we'll go with that. Mortify, crucify, deny, but subdue, meaning to bring under authority. So when you're subduing something, this is the purpose of Adam. They had to bring something under authority or the righteousness of Jehovah. So we definitely need to make sure we're doing that. And then we'll pull this other one in for its dominion. And then we'll start to move. Okay. All right, dominion. Let me see if I can do D. All right, dominion. Well, let me go to dominion. All right, govern, authority. So when you're doing dominion, you having you govern, you have an authority. There's some other movements of it also. You're showing that throne, the place of rest. It's that sovereignty, and we'll pull another one. Yep. Being a skilled craftsman or teacher. Like I said, authority, power, sovereignty. So we seeing all of that. We seeing how that dominion. So when you're looking at dominion, you can also look at it as when he's telling you to have dominion over it, that's showing leadership. And leadership brings forth stewardship, right? Meaning you being a servant. So we're going to read down and then I'm going to make a point. Verse 29, and God said, remember, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, every elder, and which is the works of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, so it'll be for doctrine. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. So we getting all of that. So God gave this wisdom to Adam, right? That because he blessed him, and we saw that in verse 28. And he blessed him and gave these instructions that these instructions also should guide our paths, or you could say Adam's path in the earth. And also, like I said, when you think about dominion, how it actually function, it should be understood as leadership or stewardship, being a servant to the people, rather than trying to mistreat people, or the things that camps would say, y'all gonna be slaves in the kingdom. And nah, that ain't dominion. That's a whole lot different on how they seeing stuff. But like I said, it's supposed to be leadership or stewardship, being that servant. And we can see how that actually goes. We'll go to Mark right quick. We're going to do Mark chapter 10. And then let's pull verse 44. And we'll do 45 also. Let me highlight them right quick. Mark 10, verse 44 and 45 say, and whosoever of you would be the chiefest, right? And that's the one that hold a higher position shall be servant of all. And 45, for even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. So this actually showing you exactly what that dominion, that leadership, that stewardship is. The one that's greatest among you supposed to be the servant. He's the one that's supposed to lead by example. We're going to pull some in Colossians. And we're going to do chapter 3. We'll pull chapter 22 and 23. It say, servants, obey in all things your teachers according to the flesh, not with eye service, as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, desiring God. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as the Creator, and not unto men. So this is actually just telling you everything, is that responsibility, having that respect for relationship that we supposed to have with Jehovah's creation, recognizing, we supposed to recognize that we have this responsibility of being caretakers, children of the light of this world. And that's what a servant actually supposed to do. We supposed to be the children of the light. So we're going to jump back over to Genesis. And then we'll pull 31. It say, and God saw everything that he had made, and remember, it was very good. It was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So we see the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So I want to pull some based on everything he made, and it was very good. So let's go to that. We'll pull Psalms right quick. And let me highlight. All right, we're going to go to Psalms 104. And then we'll go to 31 first. It say, the glory of the Spirit of God shall endure forever. The Spirit of God shall rejoice in his works. So we see everything he made was good. So he gonna rejoice in his work. It's basically letting you know his eternal power through his eternal power, right? He made known everything through his works. And this is basically how we praise him, by doing what we were made to do. So when we do what we supposed to do, we actually praising God. But when we go contrary, then now we doing something contrary to Jehovah. And we'll jump up to verse 24. It say, O Spirit of God, how manifold are thy works, in wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of all thy riches. So we all supposed to be that reflection of what we were created for. And like I said, this is how we actually praise him. And I'm gonna pull something right quick, and I'm hoping I ain't going too fast, because I got to get to a certain point where I can go through quite a bit of information. But I'm gonna go to 1 Timothy. And then we're gonna pull 4, and then let's hit verse 4. It say, for every creature of God is good, and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving. So it's just showing, even going back to Genesis 1:31, everything he made was very good. So everything he made is very good. So we have to understand all of his creations, they have a purpose of what they were created for. And like I said, these creations, they get their praise by doing what they were created for. And we have to ask ourselves, do we do that? And that's something that we have to, really meditate on. Do we praise him by what we supposed to be doing? And you can answer that for yourself. So so now as we look back at Genesis, before we go into the next one, I want to go back to it right quick because it's a lot. When we look back at Genesis chapter 1, from verse 1 all the way to 31, it more so kind of like giving an overview of the story of creation, being set in a particular, like I said, region of the world. And, I don't want you to forget that, because we have to always remember on another continent, if you want to say that, you had other people that was created by Jehovah. So when we get people to, when we get some that say all people come from Adam, we already kind of know that it's impossible, because we can always run back to Genesis 1, we'll just say 11. We can always run back to Genesis 1 and 11, showing that every seed is within itself. So we have to understand that. We have to truly understand. But I want to make this point right quick as far as Adam, right? You know what I'm saying? And this will basically be my best explanation of Adam, being from, where they was created from the earth, or you could say the dust of the ground. I want you to remember that. So I'm going to give my best explanation. I kind of explained it to my wife the other day, just trying to let her see how you can look at Adam, where Jehovah created Adam from, he made something from something. So, you have to look at it that way. He was making something from something, or he was establishing a people from a people. So we can look at this quick example that I told her, right? Like if you got a jar of peanut butter, right? And say, for instance, you got a jar of peanut butter just sitting there. We already know that the jar of peanut butter already exists. But, so you can look at the peanut butter as a people. But if you want something different, like we'll just say peanut butter cookies. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to make something from that peanut butter. You got to make you trying to make peanut butter cookies. So you have to make them or form them from that same peanut butter by adding different ingredients in it. Or in the case of man, or you can say Adam, you have to add different elements that put the man in the likeness of Jehovah. So now you had the peanut butter, but now you made peanut butter cookies. Adam would be the peanut butter cookies. So you're looking at, like I said, now we have this man. You got a male and a female. You know what I mean? What they supposed to do, or you can say they eat peanut butter cookies. I'm speaking to my brother Digger Tremaine. He and I, we like them peanut butter cookies. But now the man Adam, you know what I mean, the male or female, you know, their job is to help do the work of Jehovah, to bring, you know what I mean, the earth, right? Back at verse 1 and 2. Adam's job is to bring the earth, who is without form, back into the knowledge of God. And that's the process of replenishing the earth. So this is what the purpose of Adam actually was. So I kind of just want to, you know what I mean, say that to give you an idea of how Jehovah pulled a people from the dust of the ground. So it was a purpose of all of that. You know, why would Adam be actually tasked with bringing the earth, who was without form, back into alignment with Jehovah? Because, as I said, we already know they come from the earth, or you could say from a people. So showing that, you know, the earth, which is, I'm going to keep saying that, the dust of the ground, Adam was pulled from there, that earth or that dust of the ground. So, but we're going to pull something to show something right quick. We're going to go to Sirach. And we're going to pull 33. And then we'll pull, we'll go 10 through 13 right quick. All right. It say, and all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth, like I said, or dust of the ground. And much knowledge the Creator had divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them had he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. Verse 13, it said, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best. So you can see it's clear that Adam was made, or you could say set apart, or, well, you know what, let me go over here. Let's look at made. Let's see. Let me try to punch it in. All right, made. You got created, formed, fashioned, established, produced, wrought. Let's see if I can get a couple of other ones. Well, you got prepared, arranged, set up. You got ready, made ready. That's saying a lot. Quickened, made alive. Hey, that's Adam. Revived, resurrected. So we see how this made is actually moving. So Adam was made, set apart, transformed, or formed. And, you know what I mean, when he was formed, he was given this same likeness that Jehovah possessed. So because the potter formed him, he became their God for like I say, for that purpose of replenishing the earth, bringing them, you know what I mean, in alignment to the only true and living God. So we're going to jump on in chapter 2. You know what I mean, as we start to look a little bit more into Genesis. You know what I mean? Going into chapter 2. This is basically when we look at chapter 2. Let me go over here to it. Genesis chapter 2. As we start to look at it, you know, it's more so going to show a lot of how a lot of movement basically on how chapter 1 laid out. So, you know, as I go through it, I'm going to point some things out to show exactly what I'm speaking about as we go through this Genesis chapter 2. We're going to go from verse 1 to 3. And, you know, it's probably around at this point where I'm going to be giving out quite a bit of information, because this is actually important. It's a lot of instructions that are going to be going on what we need to kind of, you know, lock in on. So we're going to pull Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. It'll say, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made." Verse 3, "And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made." So that said a lot. So we see at this point, Jehovah, he had accomplished his work. He accomplished everything that he set in place. And everything he set in place, he rested in them and gave wisdom to it, because he rested from all the works that he made. I want to pull some before we start to dig off into it. We're going to go to Psalms right quick. All right, Psalms, we're going to do chapter 33. And let's pull verse 9, showing exactly how it went. And say, Psalms 33 and 9, and say, "For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast." So that's exactly what happened, you know, through the creation story. So now we see in verse it said, "Thus the heaven and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work." So that seventh day, of course, we know it's the Sabbath. and it's basically, it shows a lot of importance, you know, because what I just read probably just escaped by, you know what I mean, some of us. So we're going to look back at it one more time, right? And we're going to read it. It said, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made." Verse 3, "And God blessed." So he gave wisdom, knowledge, and understanding the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. So that said a lot. Matter of fact, let's look at the Sabbath, because we know that's the seventh day. We're going to pull Sabbath. There we go. Sabbath. Well, we see Sabbath, completion, rested, restitution, reconcile. We're going to keep going. Sabbath, it's a rest day, a day of rest, a holy day. All right, we got Sabbath. It's the seventh day, a day of worship, a sacred day. And we go down here also, like I say, it's a day of rest, a holy day of rest, a holy convocation. It's a delight. So we seeing exactly how this Sabbath moving, you know what I mean? And we know that delight is more a time of joy and feasting. So we know that feast is what we do when we teaching and we learning things of that nature. So when we look at that rest, right, on the seventh day, we know God is a spirit. So we have to think about things like that. We know He's a spirit, so He doesn't have to do rest like a lot of us might think of rest. He don't rest that way because He's a spirit. He don't get tired like us. He probably get tired of us, acting crazy, but He rests. He rested on the seventh day. But Him resting, like I say, on that seventh day says a lot about the direction that we all need to be in to so we can truly get that rest that He rested in. Then we have to do a total surrenderance. So if it's saying He rested on the seventh day, it's not saying He rested on this physical day. He rested on the seventh day. So you have to see how it's actually moving. So we're going to pull some stuff. We're going to go to Isaiah first. Isaiah. And we're going to pull chapter 58. And where we at? We're going to do verse 13 through 14. It say, if thou turn away thy foot or thy desire from the Sabbath, it's time of rest, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, this separated day, and call the Sabbath a delight, right? The holy of the Spirit of God, honorable, and shall honor Him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Spirit of God, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Spirit of God has spoken it. So we have to remove our own desires, get rid of them. The desires of this world is basically what's going on, and we have to become set apart to His separated knowledge. And then He's going to cause us to be carried and supported through darkness, the darkness of this world. And basically, and that's why He say, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, the father. So He'll feed us with that spirit that supplants all flesh. And that's basically what we'll have to do. So our focus on that Sabbath day is to get, like I say, it's a total surrender. So, and since I've been going through the teaching, right, I know I've been mentioning, because I got a sister, she be checking me on this. I've been mentioning the first day all the way to the sixth day, and I'll be like, all right, just remember, because we're gonna go back to this later, from the first day all the way to the sixth day. So now we can touch on what I've been speaking about. So I'm gonna go back to Genesis right quick. I'm gonna go to it over here, Genesis chapter 1, just to show the different days. And we'll just just read through them and say, we'll start at 5. And say, and God called the light day, and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So we got that. I might well pull, we're going to have to do this because I need to make sure y'all catching it. We're going to pull evening first. What did I do wrong? Let me see. Okay, there it is. Evening. All right, you got evening, twilight. The day is ending. You got dusk vespers, basically saying the same thing, the day ending, right? So that's evening. So when you're looking at, and God called a light day, and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So I think I'm gonna have to pull Nah, we'll get to it. So we got the evening, and then we know the morning. Let's go to that one right quick. So hopefully y'all writing it down, or y'all following along in y'all Bibles. All right, morning. You got dawn, you got daybreak, sunrise. That means a lot, early light. So we're gonna do evening and morning. So we know, as we already saw, evening is day ending. It's a close of a day. Also, you can look at it as when you're thinking of evening, it can be a decline of knowledge for some people. I won't say everybody. So when you're thinking of evening, the sun is going down. The sun is wisdom. So, but we ain't gonna get too deep off in it. But then you got morning, which, like I said, you got the dawn, you got sunrise. There you go. You got dawn, daybreak, sunrise, early light, right? So that's the dawn. It's the sunrise. I know it also has in there, my God, it's the beginning of light. It's an increase in knowledge. So now you're being enlightened. So you can I'm just kind of telling you how it's moving. So, but y'all can always check me when you get a chance to do your studies. We're gonna pull day, because everything I'm saying it's gonna show something on what I'm trying to get you to see. We're gonna go to day. Where we at? Let's see how to do that. Day. All right, day. You got day, understanding, enlighten. You got illumination, a time of divine favor and blessings. That's good. Time of revelation, practice, discipline, light, and then you got time, right? So that day is, as I said, that's that truth, that knowledge. As you know, we got that light, that favor and blessing, time of revelation. So I'm just going through it, and I'm gonna just go to that first, since we in verse 5, it's saying God called a light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. So we know that first is a beginning. It's a chief thing, that preeminence. We're gonna keep moving. Now we're gonna go to verse 8. Cause we just going to each day. I just want you to remember each day. It's saying God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So we got the second day. I got to pull it so y'all can see it. So we just gonna pull a second. Cause we already got evening and morning. So all we need now is what's actually going on. Let me see. Second. Okay. Second, time. It's a position. It's a comparison. Fulfillment. It's a promise. Judgment is doctrines and teachings and redemption. So we seeing that and saying God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So we got that second, that time, that position, that fulfillment, judgment, and redemption. And then now we'll go to verse 13. We're just trying to get y'all to see each day. Okay. It say, and the evening and the morning were the third day. All right. So we'll do third. Y'all bear with me. We gonna get through it. All right, third. Hold up, I did something wrong. Third, where we at? Let me see something. Might not have it, but we good. So I just tell you, third is a time also. It's an order. You can look at it as a resurrection. You can look at it as a rise, right? You know what I mean? Purified. You can look at it as a purification through separation. And then fourth, y'all can just write them down and go back and check it. The fourth, of course, that's a completion or a complete of man, not of God. It's a complete of man, right? But let me go to that one, so we'll see. And that'll be verse 19. That's the fourth day. It say, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. So we got that. Now we'll go down to 23. Here we go. It say, and the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So we got the fifth day. That's a time. It can be a trespass. It can be some ignorance within it, acts of sin. That'll be the fifth. And then we got 6. This will be the last one because all right, here we go. And 31. It say, and God saw everything that he had made, and remember, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So we know 6 is imperfect. I mean, it had blemishes, unholy. It's not completed. You know what I'm saying? These are showed like the principal things we learned from sin. So you should be able to see that in there, right? So we basically saw all of these days from the first day to the 6th day. But now I want to show you something right quick. We're going to go back to Genesis, and then I'm going to ask y'all a quick question. Genesis chapter 2. And then now we got 1 through 3. So we see when we ended off in verse 31, Genesis 1, it's saying God saw everything that he had made. Remember, it was very good, and the evening and the morning were the 6th day. So we're going to read Genesis chapter 2, 1 through 3. And I'm going to ask y'all something. It say, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. So my question is this. I want y'all to look at it, and do y'all see in Genesis 2, 1 through 3, do y'all see evening and morning in Genesis chapter 2, 1 through 3? Do y'all see evening and morning? I'll give y'all a minute. Somebody saying, yeah, I don't see that. If you see evening and morning, you tell me where you see evening and morning. Because I know evening and morning in Genesis chapter 2, 1 through 3. It don't say evening and morning as it said in all the rest of the days. And that's the purpose behind that. So when you're looking at the 7th day, the Sabbath, is actually showing you something that it's a never-ending day. Or you could say his knowledge is basically he rested in this day, not this physical day. He's resting in this knowledge, which it's an eternal day, or being, in his knowledge. So this is basically where he rests at. He rests in his knowledge that never ends. So we should be observing and resting in his ways, not on just a day. Nah, that ain't how it looks. We don't rest just on a day. It's an eternal rest that we all, gonna have to get to. And that basically comes, like I said, through a fully commitment. And this is that eternal rest. And it's that eternal rest now and in the world to come. So when you go back when you look at Genesis, where it say the first day, the 2nd day, it's nowhere there that it was completion. Completion only came on the 7th day. So you'll never see completion until the seventh day. On that first day, that second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. No, it's not. It wasn't completion then. Everything wasn't completed. Completion only comes through him when we rest in his eternal wisdom and his eternal knowledge. That's the completion that we have to start to get toward. It's not any just resting on a regular day, on the seventh day. That don't do now. We need to rest in his knowledge. So we're gonna kind of dig into this right quick so I can get you to see that. So we're gonna go to Deuteronomy. And we're gonna pull chapter 5. And we're gonna do we'll go 12 through, just to kind of show you something. And say, keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Spirit of God had commanded thee. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Spirit of God, thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thy ass. Let me go down to 15. Nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of the house of bondage, that the Spirit of God thy God brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. For that reason, the Spirit of God thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. So this, if you're looking at this, is more so just showing you. I always think back to Romans 1:20. Is saying a lot right there. So it's showing that day, the Sabbath, is a separated day, set apart from all other days. It's that day of rest, total, like I say, total surrenderance. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna go to Psalms. All right, Psalms 132, and then we'll pull verse 13 and 14. It say, for the Spirit of God have, hold on, y'all. It say, for the Spirit of God has chosen Zion. He have desired it for his habitation. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. So this is actually showing that we have to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? He giving it to you. It's that rest, that eternal peace from the cares of this world. Because if he resting in us, it don't have nothing to do with another day. But I'm going to show you something right quick. We're going to go to Mark. And we'll pull chapter 2. And then let's go to 24. We'll go to Mark 2. 24, and we'll go to 24 through 28. It say, and the Pharisees said unto him, remember, why do they on the Sabbath day hold on, and the Pharisees said unto him, remember, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not, do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful, And he said unto them, because they looking at this physical day, and he said unto them, have ye never read what David, the beloved, did when he had need and was hungered, he and they that were with him, how he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar the high priest, and did learn the showbread. Right? Is that pure knowledge, which is not lawful to learn but for the priests, and gave also to them which were with him. And then verse 27, and he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. For that reason, the Son of Man is creator also of the Sabbath. So it's kind of going back to what I just said. Some will just celebrate the Sabbath as a day to just, to kick back, lay around, relaxing, and that's according to the law of the flesh. But that ain't, as we looking at Romans 1:20, you can look at it that way. But now our mindset has to shift on what's actually being said. We should be learning about that Sabbath or that place of rest. You know what I mean? What he's actually saying. And we're going to pull something to kind of show you something right quick. This should help what I'm trying to say. We're going to go to Hebrews just to show that it ain't speaking just about this day. It's a certain mindset that we have to have. So we're going to go to Hebrews right quick. And we'll pull 4. Hold on, what I do? Okay, yeah, I got it. All right, we're gonna start at verse 2 and we're gonna go down to 11. So just kind of listen to what I'm about to say. It say, for unto us was the message preached. Right, so this message was taught to us as well unto them. But the word preached did not profit them. Let me highlight this. We'll just keep going down. All right. So verse 3. Not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. So we can see in verse 2, a lot of folk, it didn't profit because a lot of them didn't hold to it, but we'll see that in verse 3. For we, which have believed, meaning we trusted in him, we do enter into his rest. That's that hope, that trust, and that confidence. This is what we supposed to be in. As he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works was finished from the foundation of the world, showing his eternal peace and glory. Excuse me, y'all. For he spake in a certain place of the 7th day on this wise, and God did rest the 7th day from all his work. Hey, hold on 1 second, y'all. Alright, sorry about that, y'all. Man. Alright, I'm gonna read 4 again. It say, for he spake in a certain place on the 7th day on this wise, and God did rest the 7th day from all his works. So we seeing that he rested on the 7th from all his work, his wisdom, his knowledge. This is what he resting in. Don't think of a physical day. And then verse 6, seeing for that reason it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. Meaning they weren't fully committed and trusted in his knowledge. Verse 7. Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Now, verse 8. For if Yahushua had given them rest, then would he not after have spoken of another day? Because it ain't talking about a day. All right. Verse 9. There remaineth for that reason a rest to the people of God. Now this that rest is that, but we got to work to get toward this rest. And then verse 10. It said, for he that is entered into his rest, he also have ceased from his own works, as God did from his. So it basically said everything we need, we have to cease from our own works and just rest in God. Meaning we don't supposed to have, be worried about the cares of this world, fully committed. And like I said, be in submission to just that eternal knowledge of God. This is basically that rest that we're supposed to enter in. And then we can see that in verse 11 and say, let us labor for that reason to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. So this is basically saying everything we need. This is that labor that we have to work toward, not physical labor, things of this world where we just, okay, well, the Sabbath about to start. Nah, because if your mindset is locked in on Jehovah, then we can enter into his rest. We can be in his rest all the time. So, when you sit back and really think about his rest, it's like I said, it's basically something that we supposed to fully trust and commit to it, to that knowledge of God. True rest only comes from not just doing these I guess you can call it like ritual things. Okay, here come the Sabbath this Saturday, and that, we can't do that, but we got to be fully embracing that spiritual truth. Having that faith. Getting our thoughts out the way, and then fully surrendering to Jehovah. So I want to pull something right quick. We're gonna go to Proverbs. And we'll go 10. And then let's pull verse 22. It say, the blessings, meaning that wisdom, knowledge and understanding of the Spirit of God, it maketh rich. That it do. And he addeth no sorrow with it. Because if we in his rest, it ain't gonna be no sorrow. Sorrow comes when we, focus on the cares of this world. Well, shoot, man, if I don't do this, this and that, nah, it ain't no sorrow. You know what I'm saying? When you fully in his blessings, taking it in, learning of them, not realizing everything that we do or the thing we physically see. I always know, and I know Elder been speaking on this, that paradox. I spoke with him real hard on that, just a mindset shift on that paradox when we seeing these physical problems, just taking a step back and knowing that it's something working behind it to basically to put it in your favor if you truly believe in God or you fully trust in him. So we look at the physical stuff that's actually going on, but behind the scene, God's working. And and that comes with trust, in him. So we're going to keep rolling. We're going to go to 2 Peter. We'll pull 3. And then let's hit verse 18. It's a, but grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Creator and Savior, salvation of the anointed way. To him be glory both now and forever. Amen. So this is something that we have to do. We got to grow in that grace and that knowledge of our Creator. This is basically where our rest is. So we finna go through some, so hopefully, like I said, y'all can write this down, because it's gonna say a lot on. It's instructions that can help us later to basically. We'll get to it. We're gonna go to Revelations. And then we'll pull chapter 7, and then let's do verse 4. It say, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So we see we got to work something out with that. That number that was sealed is 144,000. So keep that one in the forefront. So we're gonna go through some and see how this actually going. We're gonna go to Genesis. All right, Genesis chapter 17, and we'll pull 7 through 9. It say, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant. Therefore, for that reason, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. That's plural. So we kind of get an idea that, when you're thinking of that 144,000, if it's saying generations, that means 144,000 per generation. So it's basically letting you know he's going to be their God and the seed after them in their generations. So, and we know the Bible is the living word of God, so it constantly moves. So whatever happened back in our forefather time, that was that 144,000, and it keeps going until this is finished. We're gonna go to Deuteronomy 7 right quick. But just just remember that 144,000 per generation. So just focus on that for now. We'll go to Deuteronomy, and let's pull 7 just to drive it a little bit. And then we'll pull verse 9. It say, no, for that reason that the Spirit of God, thy guide, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that promise him and keep his commandment to 1,000 generations. So that kind of just drove home the point a little bit more. Now let's go to Psalms. And we're still talking about rest, y'all. So everything I've been going through is still pertain to the rest. So we got Psalms 105. Bible moving a little slow today. We'll do Psalm 105 and 7 through 8. It say, He is the Spirit of God, our guide. His doctrines of teaching are in all the earth. He had remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. So, showing that God doesn't change. Like we already know, he's not a man that he should lie. So whatever he said, hey, it's sealed, and it's our job to try to be part of this what we showing you right now. So we're gonna go to second address right quick. Second address, chapter 3. And then we'll pull 32. It say, second address, chapter 3, 32. It say, or is there any other people that knoweth thee beside Israel? Or what generation has so believed thy covenants as Jacob? So it's basically telling you who he's dealing with. You get a lot of people, and I did want to push home some that don't ever let anybody out here tell you about some spiritual Israel, which, like I said, it allows others to teach you about your God. There's no such thing as a spiritual Israel. He telling you right here, or is there any other people that knoweth thee beside Israel? Or what generation hath so believed thy covenants as Jacob? This is saying a lot. Is no spiritual Israel. Israel is supposed to be in the spirit, walking in the spirit, but it ain't no spiritual Israel. So I do want to pull some even on that right quick, just to show that when you get that, then that'll basically make it basically makes the Bible a lie. It takes everything. You basically can trip up the Bible if this spiritual Israel or not. It throws everything out of whack. So I want to show you some, because he always left instructions on how we supposed to operate, but it's just us that ain't even trying to see it. But we're gonna go to something right quick, and it's still, like I said, based on rest. Y'all just bear with it. All right, Wisdom of Solomon 14, and we'll pull 8. Matter of fact, we'll do 8 through 11. It say, but that which is made with hands is cursed. That's saying a lot, because that's basically what's going on when you got spiritual Israel. That's something that was made with hands also. You know, it's something that people don't drummed up, and it's basically what it is, made with man's power. It's cursed as well as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called God. Right? For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Right? For that reason, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of God they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the desires of the unwise. So it's more so letting you know that it's no spiritual Israel. This is something that been concocted with man's hands. Yeah, they put it in their power to come up with this foolishness, but God knows who his people are, and it's basically our job to kind of stay locked in and focused on that. So I'll pull another one on that, and then we're going to jump back on that rest, because everything I'm still showing you based on the rest, just to let you know that it's so easily to not enter into his rest when we get into foolish stuff like this. We'll go to 48, Jeremiah 48, and then let's pull 10. It say, "Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Spirit of God deceitfully," which they do, "and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood," from that lifestyle. So when you see that foolishness, then it's basically our job to put, to check it right there on the spot when folks come with that foolish spirit, because all you have to do is really ask them to show it to you in the book, which they never do for some reason, but that's a whole nother thing. But we're going to get back into that rest because it's actually important. We're going to go to Joshua. We're going to go to Joshua chapter 22. And then let's pull we got 26. And we'll take it to 28. Joshua 22, 26 through 28. It say, "For that reason we said, let us now," this is basically instructions for us, right? For that reason we said, "Let us now prepare to build us an altar, not for burnt offering, not for living gifts, nor for sacrifice, establishing covenant, but that it may be a witness between us and you and our generations after us, that we might do the service of the Spirit of God before him in the presence of him, with our burnt offerings and with our sacrifices and with our peace offerings, that your children may not say to our children in the time to come, ye have no part in the Spirit of God. Therefore, for that reason said we, that it shall be when they should so say to us, to our generations in the time to come," right here, "that we may say again, behold, remember the pattern of the altar." So we supposed to remember that pattern of the altar of the Spirit of God, which our fathers made, not for burnt offerings, the living gifts, nor for sacrifices, but it is for a witness between us and you. So we must continue to build upon this pattern. Also, and that's actually going to help the generations to come, so that they can also have an opportunity to inherit that rest that was promised. So we're going to look at some in Second Ezra right quick. Second Ezra, we're going to go to 8. And then let's pull 2 and 3. We'll just start. It's a Second Ezra chapter 8. We'll do 2 and then 3. It say, "I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved." And that basically taking us back to that Revelations 7 and 4, that 144,000. So this is more so just showing you, it's almost like you at a construction site, right? And they got this big bucket that's digging down, and it's only getting little pieces of pebbles of this gold. The bucket digging, but only little, maybe a little pebble here, a little pebble there. And that's basically the work that we have to do to try to be a part of that 144,000 of this generation. So let me show you something right quick. Let's go to Judges. We'll pull chapter 2, and let's go to verse 10. It say, and also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Spirit of God, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. So we see when that next generation come, which it will, it's going to be a lot of them that don't choose Jehovah. And we know within that generation, the ones that reject it, they're going to be removed. And that's basically what that Ezekiel 21:27 always come into play. He going to, matter of fact, let me pull it. Ezekiel, where we at? Okay, 21, Ezekiel 21:27. It say, and I will overturn it, and it shall be no more until he comes who right it is, and I will give it him. And that's the same thing as that bucket that's digging down for that gold. He gonna keep digging, and they gonna be little pebbles here and there, and that's the overturning, until he comes who right it is. And this is basically how you have to see this. So we're gonna go to Psalms right quick. We're gonna do Psalms, and we're gonna go to 146. Yeah. Psalms 146, and we'll pull verse 10. It say, the Spirit of God shall reign forever, even thy God, O Zion, unto all generations. Praise ye the Spirit of God. So this is basically where that rest is. So now we're finna go back over to Revelation to show you something. We're going back to Revelation 7. And then we'll pull 4. All right. Revelation 7:4, and we're gonna go to 8. It say, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So they seal, meaning they get to enter into that rest, right? They seal, so they get the rest. But we're going to go down and say, of the tribe of Judah was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000. We're going to take it to 8, y'all. Of the tribe of Simeon was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin was sealed 12,000. So everyone from then until now who are sealed, like I say, they have entered into that rest. And think about it, we have this same opportunity, to that other day, they basically seal from now into that day, when this is all over. So they are sealed, and they are in his rest. Everyone that basically have done everything that they supposed to, they entered into his rest from the cares of this world. But we're gonna show something right quick. We're going to Revelations. No, I just stay right here. We'll do Revelation 6. Let me try that. And then we'll pull we'll do 9 through 11. It say Revelation 6, 9 through 11. It say, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God. So they did what they were supposed to. And for the testimony which they held, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Creator, holy and true, dost thou not judge or teach and avenge our blood, our life, on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given to every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season unto their fellow servants, which should be us also, and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Showing we got this opportunity. So it's basically right here in scripture. But I'm gonna pull this last one in Revelation. We're gonna go to 14. And let's pull verse 13. It say, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, bless, wisdom are given, are the dead which die in the Creator from henceforth. Yea, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. So this is that work and that rest that we supposed to be striving for. This is, we can rest in his knowledge now, so we can also be sealed in the world to come. So that's basically all I had. Well, I got more, but I do want to stop it, because once I get into this next verse, then we be here all night, and I definitely have to be respectful for the people that's in other places and stuff like that. So we'll seal it right here, and we'll just keep working toward this atom. Hopefully a lot of you all wrote down the instructions, because a lot of it, what I was given, was just based on instructions that if you go back and study on it, and it'll kind of help a lot of us to see what is actually being said in Genesis. Genesis is a book of instructions. Even before Moses came with the law, the law already exists, and you can see through Genesis 1:31 the law being laid out if you actually study it. So hopefully this helps some of y'all, and until next time, we'll get right back into it, and we'll keep pushing along in this book of Genesis. So thank y'all once again, and hope y'all have a good night, and shalom, everyone. Peace.